The time is just gone 12 minutes past 8 a.m. Now, yesterday we seen a statement come through from the South African Muslim Network, SEMNET, and talking about victory and now a second seismic survey on RSA coast. Now, the South African Muslim Network has congratulated the Wild Coast communities and activists across the country, and this is their victory against Shell. And this was after they were given exploration rights by the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy, DMRE. Now, this was based on substantially flawed consultation processes and declared unlawful and invalid. And we have learned about round two. Tomorrow, the 15th of January, there is a planned seismic survey for the Western Cape Coast. And joining us on the line this morning is Greenpeace Africa volunteer activist from the Durban local group media spokesperson, Desiree Laverne. Desiree, good morning to you and welcome to the show.
Good morning,
Yes, now Desiree, let's just talk about this victory, because this is absolutely important. This is critical for us to understand concerning, what has taken place in the Wild Coast, where we've seen the protests, people saying, leave our Wild Coast alone, ocean, not oil. And this is clearly a victory. But just to understand the relevance behind these protests and the seismic surveys that are taking place or that were awarded, the exploration rights that were awarded by the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy to Shell.
Well, firstly, we have to know that this seismic authorization was actually given quite a few years ago, and then obviously they only give a certain period of time in which they can conduct that survey, and years elapsed. And after 2017, when NEMA was actually brought in, when Shell renewed their license to explore, they actually didn't abide by our new NEMA regulations. So that already was of great concern for us, because especially after this huge mess that we've had with UPL on the North Coast, that during the insurrection, we already saw what destruction came from the chemical spill into the ocean, where our beaches were closed for almost 4 months. Now the thing is, all our new environmental projects, they all have to be passed by NEMA, which obviously this wasn't. Then, in addition to that, we have communities that depend on the ocean for their livelihoods. We also have communities that use the ocean for spiritual reasons, and all these communities were just totally left out. They were made irrelevant, and we are actually finding that's happening on the West Coast as well.
Yes. Now, Desiree, one critical issue here is this has come through from the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy. And the fact of the matter is the consultation process was flawed, and also looking at a company like Shell. Now, we know that companies like Shell are in the business with the primary objective to generate profits. But at the end of the day, when one looks at the processes that are not followed, when they are flawed, it surely raises huge question marks as to what or why, or what is the motivation or the thinking behind not following due process, number one, but also at the same time awarding exploration rights to a company like Shell.
You actually want to laugh, but in fact, it's actually really sad that we've got a department like the DMRE and Grady that are so money hungry that they'll push any project through as long as there's profit for them. You must remember, in this Wild Coast seismic it's not even surveys, it's blasting. You have to take it as that blasting because it's actually destroying the ocean. There is also proof that the ANC political party own shares in Shell itself. So it was a even more motivating factor to actually push through this with leaving out all the important steps that have to be taken. So it's more money hungry. And I mean, as Shell was only last year, Shell was ordered by the Hague Court to actually reduce their emissions every year by between 1% and 2%. And they have to eventually, they have to do that, but suddenly they've gone full out to try and get as much oil as they can.
Now, I think what is also important to understand, because tomorrow we believe about, there is this planned seismic survey of the Western Cape Coast. Now, again, there are huge question marks that have been raised with regard to the collaboration with Shell and the government, and also looking at process once again that has come under the radar, where there is a 30-day public review and comment period, which we believe has not happened. And again, we're talking about this type of authorization given under a cloak of secrecy, Desiree.
Yes, no, it is. The BGP Pioneer is an Australian seismic survey research. I don't know why they call themselves a research ship, when in actual fact it's a destruction ship. Is coming to our coast. It should arrive in Cape Town tomorrow at 11 p.m. So if anyone is up, since we actually don't have curfew, please go unwelcome them. But the same thing has happened. These so-called consultations, they are given to limited people, and yet in the West Coast, they have excluded your commercial fisheries, your small-scale fisheries. They've had absolutely no contact with any of the communities on the West Coast. So the entire thing is fraudulent. It is flawed. It's probably, well, as was done with the Wild Coast, just pushed under the mat and passed. Now, in the seismic surveys that are taking place on the West Coast, we have 3 companies that the seismic ship will be blasting for. It's Total, Shell, and then also Impact with Petra SA. Impact is headed by Johnny Copland. Johnny Copland owns your Sorghum Sun, your Suncoast Casino, E-Media. So everything that's going to be coming out of this, they will always say it's positive, when in actual fact it's complete death to the ocean.
Yes. In fact, Desiree, I'm quite glad that, you clarified the issue, because when one talks about a term like a survey, it actually puts it very, very mildly, and people don't realize. And when you're speaking about blasting, now clearly there is a huge difference between a survey and blasting when one just looks at pure definitions. And this is absolutely important for us to understand because of the destruction that it causes. And you've made mention of the fact that how this actually would affect marine life, but also at the same time, the consequences for communities, like we know, fishing communities in the Western Cape. A lot of them depend on on fishing or the ocean for their livelihoods.
Exactly, and you know what? They like to say, it's only a survey, but behind each survey ship, there are hundreds of meters of geostreamers. There's an air gun that blasts off 250 decibels. I'm sure you know exactly how much 250 decibels is. It is even more higher than a jet engine taking off. So can you imagine that sound going off every 10 seconds against the ocean floor? Can you imagine the destruction? I don't even know why this has been allowed, because there are scientists that have said it's destructive, it's destroying the ocean. I mean, one blast decimates your plankton.
Definitely. Now, Desiree, just looking at yourself and looking at the organization as well, we are led to believe that there is an online petition to stop the seismic survey with immediate effect, and people are encouraged to go online and to support this initiative to stop this seismic survey taking place tomorrow.
Well, the ship only arrives tomorrow. They will probably head out sometime early next week, probably around about Monday or so. But we are hoping that ship doesn't even leave Cape Town. For our petition, please go to Greenpeace Africa, and you will find the link to the Stop the West Coast Seismic. It's not a survey, seismic blasting.
Yes, and this comes obviously at a time where yesterday we spoke about the World Economic Forum, their global risk report that had come out for 2022, and the issues surrounding the green connection, looking at the risks associated with the destruction of the environment. So it does come at a time when this report has come out, and this report has been very, very strong, focusing just on issues, environmental issues, but also at the same time, the political consequences, the economic consequences as well. So all of this, we can just see, despite all these calls right across the entire world in terms of protecting the environment, once again, we find that governments, because there is a lot of focus on governments and their responsibility in protecting the environment. But when we have governments that are involved, like you mentioned, the ANC, 20% shareholding in the company as well, this actually speaks volumes and raises a lot more questions.
Yeah, of course. Everyone's panic button should be pressed by now. Our environment is being destroyed for profit. People don't matter, only profit matters to our government. And this, if a project like this happens to come onto your coastline, or they happen to start up a new mine somewhere, they say, oh, but job opportunities. They must wake up, because there are no job opportunities. How many skilled South African workers are they going to put on an oil rig?
Well, so definitely, Desiree. So Desiree, just like you said, is people need to go online, go onto your website and obviously raise their objections. Let's just follow these developments and see what happens tomorrow when the ship actually arrives. But for now, we thank you for taking time out, talking to us this morning and sharing what you have. We wish you all the best. We wish the organization, Greenpeace Africa, we wish them all the best as well in this initiative.
Okay. Thank you so much. We actually need all your support. So please go online, sign that petition. If there's a protest, make sure you're there, because every voice matters.
Thank you very much for that. All the best. Desiree Laverne joining us this morning. She is a media spokesperson, Durban local group for Greenpeace Africa. And this is against the second seismic survey. And I like the way they play with words in terms of survey, but clearly we're talking of huge destruction to the ocean, to the wildlife, and also at the same time to economies of local people. So go onto the website, sign the survey. All the support is needed. But once again, highlighting the fact, looking at the corporate world and the impact and the influence that they have on governments, and at the same time, when one looks at government involvement in this, the complacency on the part of government, again, putting profits before the environment. The time is just gone, 8:27 a.m. We come back, we'll be joined by Ashraf Ismail. We're talking about the ARTO Act that has been now ruled by the court as being invalid and unconstitutional.